When you think of yoga, you probably picture a class full of people who look like this. But Marsha Banks-Harold is changing perceptions about who yoga is for with her inclusive wellness studio called Pies Fitness in Alexandria, Virginia. She caters to people of all shades, sizes, and ages, as well as those impacted by trauma, just like two of her sons. This is the Black Mom Founders Chat. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shanae Williams, a journalist turned entrepreneur and also the founder of the Black Mompreneur. And we have Marsha joining us virtually from her studio. Hello.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Great. I'm so glad that we were able to get you on for this series. I'm not sure where I came across your information. I think it was an interview I saw online, and you just seemed so warm and you just exuded peace and calm, and so I love her. She has to come on the show.
Well, awesome. What a pleasure to be here.
Let's talk about how you got into yoga, because you're an electrical engineer by trade, right?
That's right. I am an electrical engineer, and I became a yoga teacher and a yoga therapist because I hit a glass ceiling in my career as an engineer in 2008, and I really didn't know what to do with myself. I was devastated. I needed something to ground myself, and yoga was that answer.
And then how did you come up with the name Pies?
Well, actually, I received it. I was doing a yoga class, and at the end, I received this message of PIES, physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual well-being. I realized that while I was doing really well in my career, emotionally and spiritually, there were some things that weren't as balanced. And so this concept really allows us to find balance in all aspects of our lives.
So finding that balance is just key for everybody. I know after the pandemic, it was a struggle. And even now, for moms who are watching this, finding that balance is so important. So can you tell us a little bit about how you went from, falling in love with yoga to then deciding to open up a studio?
Yes, well, actually, when I was studying yoga, I found out that when I visited different yoga studios, that the spaces weren't as inclusive as I was expecting. Being an engineer and a Black woman in the engineering field, I experienced a lot of situations where I wasn't welcome, valued, and seen. And when I experienced those similar things in some of the spaces that I went into, I said, I wanted to create a brave space for everyone, where everybody would be welcome. So I opened my studio for people with special needs, people that were from the BIPOC community, people that were professional engineers, lawyers, scientists like myself. So for me, Pies is about inclusivity.
Yes, you're right. We don't see that often. And so what was it like finding a space and even, getting the funding for opening up your yoga studio? Because that can be a barrier for some people as well.
Definitely. Actually, I was really blessed because the first space that I've had was really accessible for me. Being an engineer, I mathematically calculated how much money I would have to make every single day in order to be successful in my business. And I was really fortunate to be able to open a yoga studio with low cost, at least for the first location. During the pandemic, my revenue was significantly impacted, and I lost 2 spaces during the pandemic. I was devastated, honestly, but I was able to purchase 2 buildings during the just not even a year ago in May of 2022. So
that's a
whatever
blessing.
looks like whatever looks like an unfortunate situation will really allow you the opportunity to expand and be more of a presence than you ever imagined.
That's great. So not renting, purchasing the actual space. That's amazing.
Yes.
A lot of our viewers, they may be parents, and you have 4 children, you have 4 sons. And so can you talk about them and then the impact that they had on your business as well?
Well, definitely my children are first in my life. I'm really fortunate to have 2 biological children. And when the same time that I hit this glass ceiling, I also lost a significant person in my life. She was the babysitter to my 2 biological children. And when she passed away, she was caring for her grandchildren. And I wanted to leave a legacy in her name. And so my husband and I decided to take in her grandchildren and to give them the foundational needs that they needed to make their lives more successful than what they would have had if they didn't have a warm family to support them. So my children are awesome beyond measure. My oldest is a graduate of Morehouse. My oldest studied engineering, economics, and Mandarin.
Mm.
And then my youngest biological child is a freshman at Morehouse studying business. And then the two children that I took in, one is a freshman at Virginia State University, and then the older one that we took in is studying cosmetology and also business. So we've been really fortunate to be able to have four children in our home that are able to thrive beyond measure.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful that you were able to provide that for them. And what were their ages when you were just starting the yoga studio?
4 years old, two 4-year-olds,
Oh.
because the younger two are 4 months apart, and then 7 and 8 years old. That's how old they were originally. So they've been around yoga a long time.
They have. And so how difficult was that for you, right? Because you were starting the yoga studio and you had the four little guys. What was that like, balancing it all? Because that's what we always strive for, right? As moms, trying to do it all.
That's right. And yoga really helped me with that. I learned to intentionally set scheduled time to spend with my family. Just like in my career, being successful there, I had time scheduled for meetings to meet my goals. I did the same thing with my children. So we had scheduled times that we went to have ice cream together or going to the park, to read together, to meditate together. So it allowed me to kind of blend my two worlds together. I used all of my project management skills that I had in my engineering job to bring that into my personal life. And so that really allowed us to have an amazing family together.
That's important. So time blocking, the calendar is key.
The calendar is key. I live by my calendar, and my children use theirs as well. So we add things to each other's calendar so we know where we are, and it allows us to vacation together. It allows us to really spend time growing together, building our businesses. So we have the yoga studio, but we also added a CBD business that we started, and now we're opening a cafe as well. So this really has allowed our family to come together and really uplift the legacy that we'll leave for the generations that come after us.
It's really interesting and powerful. If you go to your website, you really focus and prioritize people who've been impacted by trauma, who have special needs. They typically, I'm assuming, wouldn't necessarily think about yoga as a resource for them. So marketing to that demographic, was that challenging in the beginning?
It really was, because a lot of people, when they think about yoga, they think about the physical benefits only. And so for me, stepping out and really creating an inclusive space for special needs clients, for the aging population, for people that are typically not seen in yoga spaces, it created an opportunity to really benefit from word of mouth advertising. I've been really fortunate to have an amazing social media support person over the last several months, but for the last 13 years, it's really been about word of mouth and really connecting with people to say, hey, if you're dealing with anxiety, depression, if you have a physical injury, if you have knee replacements, hip replacements, as a certified yoga therapist, I'm able to work with clients that have psychological and biomedical imbalances.
For someone who may be watching this and thinking, okay, wow, I'm inspired by that. I want to do something similar. I want to start, a fitness studio or provide resources for people impacted by trauma. Do you have some tips or some resources that could be really helpful for them?
Most definitely. Trauma, has so many parameters to it. And so for me, I specialize in working with clients that are part of the LGBTQ plus community, workplace trauma, and then racial trauma as well. And so the resource that I go to a lot is by Dr. Gail Parker. She's written a book called Restorative Yoga for Race and Ethnic Based Stress and Trauma. And then there's this other book called Microaggressions and Trauma by Kevin Nadal. So utilizing those two resources has allowed me the opportunity to hold space, to be there for other families that have children that are on the spectrum. Many of my children in my home are either on the spectrum, have ADHD, and they bring their friends to me. So I help their families as well. So the resources are really critical. Those two printed materials that I mentioned are really great resources.
As a mompreneur, anything that you wish you would have known before? Any gems that you can drop for people who are
Yes.
beginning this process?
Yeah, well, the biggest gem that I had to learn is to be prepared for success. My first location that I opened up, we outgrew that space in less than a year. And honestly, I wasn't prepared for it. I just thought we would be in that 700 square feet of space, and then we would work through all of the wonderful times together there. But we outgrew that space very quickly. And then we expanded. And a year later, we ran out of space again. So my gem of success is that success is going to come. So be prepared for it. Be ready for expansion. Build that into your thought process, because if you're committed and you're passionate and you're using your time blocking to make sure that you're spending time with your family and your friends and building community, then the universe will bless you beyond measure. So be ready for that success. That's really the biggest gem that I learned.
And I love that. I think a lot of times we focus on be prepared to fail, be prepared to stumble. We don't think about, you can succeed here. And are you prepared for that and what that'll look like? So that's a great message.
Yeah, I think that a lot of times, please don't misunderstand me, there are going to be roadblocks. There are going to be situations that don't feel so successful. But if you tap into your resiliency, that's the second tool that I would offer. If you tap into resiliency, being able to move forward, to pivot, to reframe any situation that doesn't seem so positive into one that you can move forward with, then your success only broadens. It allows you to move into areas that you never thought you would be capable of doing. So recognizing that we have all the knowledge, power, and wisdom to be successful beyond measure.
Yes, so true. I can relate to all of that. So where can people learn about all the great things that you're doing? Your website, social media handles?
Yes, so my website is PIES, PIES, fitness, FITNESS, yoga.com. piesfitnessyoga.com. You can find me on Facebook, also Pies Fitness. The same handles are applicable for my Instagram and Twitter as well, except I also have Marsha Banks-Harold. That's my personal one that talks about the books that I've contributed to. I'm writing a book now on social justice and trauma and compassionate action and trailblazing leadership. So check me out on all of those avenues, and I'd love to see you virtually or in my physical locations.
Yes, which is located in Alexandria, Virginia. All right, thank you so
Yes,
much. Oh, yes, you can say it.
Okay, the address is 1322 Prince Street, Alexandria, Virginia. We'd love to have you.
Thank you so much, Marsha, for dropping those gems and sharing that knowledge for us. Really appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me here today.
And we hope that it was helpful for you as well. Let us know in the comments below. Do you want to know more about opening a fitness studio, about serving people impacted by trauma? Let us know in the comments. We want to connect you with the resources that you need. This is all about getting the inspiration and the tools to really create the life that you want for you and your children. So until next time, I'm Shernay. See you on the next chat.